All right, now we are continuing the Dvar Malchut. What do we learn about? We learned, amazing what the Rebbe is talking about over here. He's talking about the month of Adar. He's talking about Moses, and how Moses is all the Jewish people. And Moses, he transformed the whole entire month to a happy month just in the fact that he was born. The fact that Moses was born on the seventh day of Adar, this takes away all of the negative things of the month of Adar, which made Haman happy that when he threw the lots, it came out on month to kill the Jews. When to kill the Jews, it came out in the month of Adar. So Mordechai was happy because that month of the year, nothing good ever happened to the Jewish people previously. And also the zodiac of that month is fish, and fish are devoured. And also that was the month when Moses died, but he didn't know that Moses was born. So the Rebbe said, okay, so that did away with one of the three reasons that he had to be happy for the downfall of the Jews. But there were two more reasons. The month had nothing good ever happened, and the mazel, the zodiac of the month, was fish. So the Rebbe said, no, the fact that Moses was born, that's the birth of the Jewish people. And what does it mean to be born? To be born means there's no qualities. There's no description. Just this amorphous thing called birth. You don't know if the baby is going to be good, smart, he's going to live. You don't know anything, right? Moses was born. This idea of being born, that everything was brand new, this Moshe brought into the world, that the Jews could see that every moment is brand new. And that happened in the month of Adar. And the Rebbe said Adar represents the revelation of the Creator. Everything is brand new, right? He's creating in the creation. That God wants every detail in the creation to be here. And he's creating it constantly. And Moses was the one who brought that revelation into the world with the Torah. The reason why, how to use this whole wonderful world, the reason why he did it is so that the Jews will do the Torah and the non-Jews will do the 7 Noahide commandments. And this is revealed in all of the creation, and that's hinted at the day the date Moses was born, was the 7th day. 7 is the number of creation. 7 days of creation, that Moses revealed this newness of God, that God is creating everything brand new for a reason. For the Torah, he revealed it in the physical world, he was born, and also 7 in time, eternal time. So every single instant, every single second is a brand new surprise and a miracle. And it's there so that we should utilize it to serve the Torah. And that's why we have challenges in life and, God forbid, difficulties in life. And so we should know how to react according to the Torah. And that brings out our soul. That's what activates our soul. That's what we just finished learning. We have to make the decision, right? So what's really of prime importance to us? Is it our soul or our body? And ideally, it should be both of them together. I want my soul to rule over my body, to make this world a perfect place. Okay, so now the Rebbe also had a question. If you remember, this week's Torah portion, and the same thing with the Megillah, and the Megillah doesn't have God's name mentioned in it. It's the only book of the whole Bible, in all the books of the Bible, it doesn't have God's name mentioned in it. Only book, the Megillah, we read. And also this week's Torah portion that we're reading, Parshas Ki Tetzaveh, is the only Torah portion after Moses was born, of course, that doesn't have Moses' name in it. Of course, Moses is not mentioned in the book of Bereshit, in the book of Genesis, because he wasn't born yet. But from the book of Exodus, after the birth of Moses, this is the only chapter in the Torah that does not have Moses' name in it. So it says, now we can understand also the connection of the 7th day of Adar to this week's Torah portion, Parshas Tetzaveh, that the 7th of Adar, the birth of Moses, and Moses is the Jewish people, and the strengthening of the mazel, of the essence of the soul in the body of the Jewish people, Burim Tokef Mazel, is powerful, this power of the essence of the soul of self-sacrifice and to God. This is hinted at in the beginning of Parshas Tetzaveh, Ata tetzaveh b'nei Yisrael, Moses, you command the Jewish people. We said command also means to connect. You, Moses, connect the Jewish people, and they should bring to you this pure oil, crushed up for the lamp, to elevate this lamp, the fire, constantly. This ata, you, this refers to the essence of Moses, like the level of the mazal, we said. This is above any name. That's why this week's Torah portion does not have the name of Moses, because the name of Moses, that's a lower aspect of Moses. The Torah portion starts off with the word ve'ata. You, God is saying to Moses, you, your essence, above any names, above any qualities, you, your essence, Moses. And then it says ve'ata, ve'ata. That's how it starts off. Ve'ata, ve'ata, tetzavet, b'nei Yisrael, ve'ata. The vav of ve'ata, this indicates that it comes down, revealing this, that it hints at the shape of the letter vav that comes from the essence of the soul, which that's the mazal, we said. Moses, to be tetzaveh b'nei Israel, and you, Moses, you have the power to connect the Jewish people. So in other words, the essence of Moses' soul was activated by God to connect all of the Jewish people to that same level, to connect all the Jewish people to God the same way Moses was connected to God. Now, again, what we're talking about is not to leave the world. We're talking about God is the creator of the world, and the reason why every detail of the world is tremendously important to God, that is revealed to every Jew by means of Moses. In a way that is connected and joined with the Jewish people. Liot, to be isgavrus mazla, that strengthens the essence of the soul, and even the soul, how it's in the physical world, in the body. It says bari b'takif mazla, that it's powerful in the world. Sheyidgale etzlam, that should be revealed, the chozik v'tokef, the essence of the soul. Okay, so let's just, in simple English, American, what we're talking about over here. Let's imagine everyone in the world feels God. They all feel God. So what does everybody feel? Like when they felt when they went to the Holy Temple. So everybody feels that they're being created. I feel I am being created every moment, right? What would that do? Maybe it paralyzes you for a couple of seconds. I'm being created. Well, I don't feel this is amazing. But then after that, you feel 1 second, I don't have to be created. Why is God creating me? And my arms and my legs and my this. Obviously, he wants me to do things. He wants me to, now you become empowered. If everybody felt the creator, then there would be no such thing as depression in the world. No one would be depressed. Why do people get depressed? Because they feel they've got no reason to live. So you can say, yeah, maybe you have none of your reasons to live. But what about God's reasons to live? Like Professor Viktor Frankl, he brings in his books, I'm a very big fan of his. The Rebbe also was. He brings that he was he was in concentration camps for like 3 years, and he met 2 people that wanted to commit suicide, and he asked them, "Why do you want to commit suicide?" He was a big expert at preventing suicides. Why do you want to commit suicide? And both of them said, "Because I have nothing more to expect from life." And he said, "Well, maybe life has something to expect from you. In other words, your perimeters are too small. Right? You're thinking only in terms of what I think, what I would. Maybe let life surprise you a little bit. Maybe something bigger is demanded from you. Right? Find out what it is. You'll see. Every moment has a moment, the next moment that's waiting for you. You don't know what's going to happen in the next moment. Life is calling to you. So if everybody felt God is creating us, then there would be no such thing as depression. There would be no such thing as laziness. There would be no such thing as addictions. People wouldn't be running after selfish things like pleasures. People would want pleasures. Pleasure is a good thing, but that wouldn't be the point of our life, the goal of our life. The goal of our life would be to do what it says in the Torah, live according to the Torah. Have a family, have friends, be honest, be rich, and all these things. But if you don't have a family, you don't have friends, and you're not rich, okay, if that's what God wants, who knows what's going to be in the next second? Maybe it'll be different. maybe I have to change my attitude. But if really was revealed godliness in the world, then first of all, everyone would be much more appreciative of every detail in the world, and they would be more active to want to change the world. And the attitude would be a positive attitude. We'd be willing to change. These, by the way, are three very essential principles of Viktor Frankl also. And he's not talking about God, religion, right? He's talking about human personality, human practical, how to be a healthy human being. And that was the job of Moses. Moses was to connect the Jewish people, and by them, the whole world, to the Creator, so everyone feels they're being created. by means of this, we will take oil, which is crushed up for the lamp, the source of light. Shemrumas, this is the idea of Mesirat Nefesh, like we just finished talking about. This is self-sacrifice. Like the rabbis say, Zayat Mosar Nafsho al Kedushat HaKodesh Baruch Hu. It says that the olive, it sacrifices itself, it's willing to be crushed for sanctifying God's name so that the oil will come out of it. This is the idea of katit lamor, crushed. Like the rabbis say, Nimshal Yisrael, the Jewish people are compared to an olive. Eino motzi shemno, the olive doesn't bring out its oil only by means of being crushed. Also, the Jewish people, when the non-Jews come and they crush them and they move them from one place to another, by means of the difficulties and the suffering in the time of exile, there's revealed the power of the Jewish people, namely the essence of the soul. That's what crushes us. We're going to learn it in the Mimer also. That this is the idea of shemen zach lamaor, crushed for the light. Shemen, pure oil, even ata marveno, oil, even if you mix it up with any other type of liquids, it always remains autonomous in itself. You make it into an emulsion, whatever it is, it always ends up floating to the top, or it's separated. And then we're talking about pure oil, belish morning, without any dregs, without any sediment. L'ma'or, for the source of light, above light itself. Because and all this is in order, lahalot ner tamid. This is in order to light up the light constantly. Remember, we learned, it says that Aaron has to light, we learned this in Torah Or. Aaron, the commandment was to light from evening until the morning. And then, but it says, and the goal is that it should be lit constantly. So what does it mean constant from evening to morning? Is not constant. Rashi says, no, if it's done constantly at one particular time, that's called constant. That's called constant. The constant offering, the tamid, was only in the morning and the evening. That's called constant. But that's not really what it means. I mean, constant means all the time. So it says the job of Aaron is to dispel the darkness. The job of Moses is to make the only light. There is no darkness. Keshem, just like oil shines up in the holy temple, and it says that it illuminated the whole entire world. Like it says, Helchu goyim lorecha. It says that non-Jews will go according to your light. And therefore our fathers are called Zayat Rana. The Jewish people are called I say young, fresh olives. She'im meirim lakol, because when crushed, they illuminate the whole world. Hainu shetachlit hakavana. The whole entire purpose is not the idea of self-sacrifice in a way of going out of the world, but self-sacrifice like Moses and the Jewish people for the sake of the world. Moses connects the Jewish people to the Creator. God is the Creator. He wants to enhance His creation. Etzem and Neshama, that's the essence of the Jewish soul. The essence which is pure for the lamp, for the illuminator, should be drawn down and revealed in the world. The latest Moshe, like it's hinted at the birth of Moses, Moses was born on the 7th day of Adar. Why? The 7th day, that shows overpowering of the strength and the power of Moses' mazal, which is the essence of the soul of Moses and the Jewish people, is in a way that it should be revealed in the 7 days of creation. You had a question or something? Just 1 minute. Let me finish this. Al derech zeh, according to this, similarly, at the end of this week's Torah portion, Vasisa Mizbeach, there will be made an altar of Hakter Ketoris. The end, very interesting. This whole Torah portion talks about the garments of the Kohanim, of the priests. But the beginning and the end is not on that topic at all. The beginning is talking about the oil that the Jewish people have to bring, the menorah, to the menorah. And the end talks about the incense altar, the golden altar, which was in the holy, in the place of the holy, between the menorah and the face bread, there was a little altar of gold, and they would offer incense on it. Now, the place of these two things, the menorah and especially the end, the golden altar, that should have been in last week's Torah portion. Last week's Torah portion talked about the vessels in the temple, the altars, and etc. And this week's Torah portion talks about the garments. But strangely, God decided He didn't want it to be that way, that everything would be, all the vessels would be last week. He put the details, a lot of the details of the menorah in the beginning, and this Mizbeach HaKatoret, the golden altar, He put in the end. Okay, so the end, the beginning we talked about, to illuminate the world. The end is talking about, says you should make Asisa Mizbeach Miktar Katoret, you should make a altar that sacrifices, that burns incense. The Iktira love Aaron, and Aaron, he burned the incense, Katoret Samim, and Beboker, every single morning, Be'etivo at the Nerot, when Aaron was preparing the lamps for burning, as he would, I'm sorry, then he would burn the incense. Ubalot Aaron, and when Aaron would light the candles in the end of the day, he would burn the incense again. She'inyan Ketoret, the whole connection of the Ketoret is the incense. This indicates on hitkashut. The Aramaic word for tying is lekater, to tie is kater. And that's also the word of ketoret, to tie up. Really, the ketoret and the korbanot indicate the same thing, coming close. Korbanot means to come close to God, and ketoret means to be tied. So the ketoret, the incense, is even a closer tie to God than the sacrifices were. The sacrifices were just korbanot, to come close, and ketoret means to be tied to God. Anyway, the whole idea of the ketoret, to be tied, this indicates on the attachment and the joining of the essence of the Jewish soul with God. But often in such a way, b'chad ketiret ketarna, like it says with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, I am tied to God with one knot, K-N-O-T, one bind. Nimshech is drawn down and revealed in the physical world by means of these lights that Aaron lit. So the whole idea of bringing it into the world, that's the lights that Aaron lit. And the Ketoret, which was that was the idea of the attachment of the Jews to God, that the lamps revealed. Okay, let's see. We do a little more. Here we go. According to this, now we can explain the two reasons in Parshas Tetzaveh why the name of Moses is not there. One of them is that Moses died on the 7th day of Adar. And the other one, and usually we read Parshas Tetzaveh around the 7th day of Adar. So therefore Moses' name is not mentioned. And because Moses said, Macheni al misifracha, wipe me out from your book. And what's the connection to both of them? Moses said, and the Rebbe asked this question, this is only in next week's Torah portion, and it even seems that this happened after this whole story in Parshas Tetzaveh, the commandment for the menorah, that happened when the Jewish people worshiped the golden calf. When the Jewish people worshiped the golden calf, when Moses was bringing down the first tablets, which he didn't bring down, he broke. So God said, I'm going to wipe out the Jews. And Moses said, please don't wipe them out. If you do, wipe me out. If you wipe out the Jews, then wipe me out from your book. So God said, okay, I'm not going to wipe you out from my book, but because you said it, I'm going to wipe you out from one Torah portion, this week's Torah portion. But the Rebbe asks, 1 second, the that Moses said, "Wipe me out of your book," right? According to some opinions, first of all, it occurs in the Torah, in a Torah portion next week, after. And some people say even chronologically it happened afterwards. So the Rebbe said, okay, let me just explain these two reasons in any case. Why is it that Moses' name does not appear in our Torah portion? One reason is because he died on the seventh day of Adar, which is when our Torah portion is read. And another one is because Moses said clearly, wipe me out. Tom, the reason that Moses' name is not mentioned in Parshas Ketaveh, like we said before, is not only because on the seventh day Moses died, that this indicates that his name is not there, but mainly because Moses, he was born. And therefore his name is not mentioned because a name is something that's given to a person after he's born. It's a detail of the person. And Moses being born, that's the essence of Moses. Because the birth of Moses on the seventh day of Adar, this refers to the revelation of the essence of Moses, which is above any names. Therefore, it's not called, it wasn't even called the name Moses yet. Shebachol Parsha, and in fact, the whole entire Torah portion, this portion, his name is not mentioned. It's just mentioned Ve'ata, and you, namely the essence of Moses. So there is such a thing as the essence of Moses, which that's the ability of Moses to tie the Jews to God. That's what it means. That's the true identity of Moses. And Kivin Shaladas Moses, since the birth of Moshe, the essence of him was above any name, was on the seventh day of Adar. This is attached to all the Jewish people. It says Moses, he is all the Jewish people. Shegover Muslim, and therefore the Mazal, the essence of the Jewish people's souls in the body, is strengthened. The essence of the soul is strengthened in the world now in this time, because it's when Moses was born. And this is stressed at Ata, you. God is calling to each and every Jew the essence of our soul, the essence of Moses, which is the essence of our soul, to the essence and the essence of God. This is in a way of being drawn down. Ve'ata, vav, ad savta v'chibur. Simple language, the ability and the urge of every Jew to be crazy, to be crazy for the Creator, to not care about any negative thing, anything that takes away your happiness, takes away your enthusiasm for serving God, for learning Torah, for doing the commandments, for helping other people, not getting tired and not getting hungry and not getting poor, not getting nothing, being crazy for Hashem. That's what it means, being attached to God. Tzavta v'chibur. Just like Moses was. Everybody hated Moses. Everyone was against Moses. Moses said, listen, I want everybody to be with me. That's my whole goal. But if everybody hates me, I'm not going to quit my job. I'm not going to, do something else. And that's tetzava with the essence of the Jewish people. That's pure lochen. Therefore, it is hinted in this week's Torah portion that we read now, close to the seventh day of Adar. We read about the self-sacrifice of Moses for the Jewish people. Va'ata. It's hinted at. Moses said, if you wipe out the Jews, wipe me out. That's the essence of the soul of Moses. He didn't care about himself. The essence of Moses, that's when Moses said, wipe me out of your book. So that's the two reasons why Moses' name was not mentioned in this week's Torah portion. Number one, it's close to the seventh day of Adar when Moses was born, and then that was the essence of Moses without any name. And the other is it revealed the essence of Moses, that he was willing to give over his whole life for the Jewish people. He said, wipe me out of your book. And by means of this, his name is not mentioned. It's just mentioned Ve'ata, namely God's essence, which is above any name, that this stresses, and also the revelation of the seventh day of Adar, that he was born, revelation of Moses to each one of us. The atzmos of all the Jews as they are one with God's essence. So according to this, now it's understood the reason why Moses said, wipe me out of your book, is relevant to the seventh day of Adar that we read. It's around this time, the day that Moses was born, the essence of Moses. This is connected to the essence of every single Jew. This is the reason of the self-sacrifice that he has for the Jewish people when Moses said, wipe me out of your book. Everything that Moses did, he sacrificed so much for the Jewish people, so much trouble they gave him. They worshiped the golden calf. They heard God say, don't worship idols. They heard it with their ears. Their souls jumped out of their bodies and they did it. What can you do with a people like that? God said, listen, I'll wipe them out and I'll make a new nation from you. They'll have new DNA. Moses said, if that's your plan, God, then wipe me out also with my DNA, with everything. But that's not normal. The Jewish people didn't deserve such self-sacrifice, such a price that Moses was willing to pay for such a terrible product as the Jewish people, to give his whole life. Says that's Moses, the essence of his soul. He didn't make any calculations. It came out. Therefore, Moses' name was not mentioned in the Torah portion, because that's only an aspect of Moshe. But it was what was Moshe? What was revealed? Ba'ata, the essence of Moshe was revealed. As we will continue, God willing, I hope we'll see tomorrow, or maybe the next day. Oh, there's a lot of, I guess we can't do everything all together. Okay, we'll figure out what to do. We'll figure out what to do tomorrow. Come tomorrow, either we'll finish the mimer, or we'll do this, or we'll do both. We'll see what to do. Now, yom yom.